All right, folks, grab your popcorn and settle in, because we're about to witness the grand spectacle of Donald J. Trump dodging a question. And trust me, this ain't your run-of-the-mill dodge. It's a high-wire act of evasion that would make Cirque du Soleil jealous. You see, when your average politician gets a tough question, they might stammer, they might deflect, they might even, heaven forbid, tell the truth. But Trump? Oh, he's got a black belt in dodging. Trump's got this whole other level of evasion that would make Houdini throw in the towel. It's like he's pulling rabbits out of hats, but instead of rabbits, it's bewildering statements that leave you scratching your head. Take, for instance, his recent deflection tactic. When asked about a national abortion ban, Trump pivoted to Biden's economic policies. It's a mesmerizing blend of non-sequiturs, half-truths, and outright fabrications, all delivered with the unwavering confidence of a guy who thinks he's nailing it. It's like watching a verbal game of three-card Monte, except you never actually find the queen, and you're pretty sure he's palming an extra card or two. The sleight of hand is so smooth you almost want to give him a standing ovation. But let's break it down. Biden's economic policies aim to address various financial issues facing Americans. This has nothing to do with the deeply personal and legal issue of abortion rights. By bringing up economic policies, Trump is attempting to shift the conversation away from the real issue at hand, whether or not he would support or veto a national abortion ban. It's a classic deflection tactic, lumping unrelated issues together to distract from the actual topic. So buckle up, folks, because we're about to take a wild ride through the baffling world of Trump speak, where words are twisted and coherence is a rare commodity. Get ready for a journey through the looking glass, where logic takes a backseat and confusion reigns supreme. Picture this. A room full of journalists, microphones at the ready, eagerly awaiting Trump's response to a simple, straightforward question. Would you support a national abortion ban? The air is thick with anticipation, every eye in the room fixed on him, waiting for that pivotal moment. Now, you might think, okay, that's a yes or no question, easy peasy. A straightforward answer should be just around the corner, right? But you'd be wrong. You see, for Trump, a direct question is like a kryptonite tie, something to be avoided at all costs. It's almost as if the simplicity of the question makes it more complex for him. Instead of a simple answer, we're treated to a rambling diatribe about, well, that's the thing, nobody's quite sure. It's a masterclass in deflection, a performance that leaves everyone more confused than enlightened. He touches on states' rights, a topic that seems tangential at best, then veers sharply into the evils of Democrats, painting them as the ultimate villains in his narrative, throws in a dash of economic anxiety for good measure, as if to remind everyone of the stakes, and somehow manages to mention Hillary's emails because why not? It's a greatest hits of his favorite talking points. It's like watching a squirrel on a caffeine bender, high energy, utterly chaotic, and ultimately going nowhere fast. The spectacle is mesmerizing, yet utterly baffling. By the time he's done, the original question has long been forgotten, the journalists are left scratching their heads, and Trump's triumphantly declared victory, having successfully dodged another bullet. It's a performance that leaves everyone wondering what just happened, and yet, somehow, it feels like a win for him. Now, let's unpack one of Trump's favorite evasion tactics, the old states' rights two-step. When asked about abortion, he loves to throw his hands up in the air and declare, that's up to the states to decide. This move creates the illusion of choice while simultaneously shirking responsibility. By doing this, he appeases his base by appearing anti-abortion, while also avoiding a concrete stance that might alienate moderate voters. It's a win-win for him. However, he conveniently ignores that federal law is meant to establish nationwide standards on critical issues like this. But hey, who needs consistency when ambiguity works just fine? It makes you wonder if he even remembers what country he's president of. But let's not get bogged down in details. After all, we've got student loans to discuss. Wait, what? Trump's speeches and interviews often resemble a jigsaw puzzle where all the pieces are shaped like angry clouds. The pieces never seem to fit together. You try to follow his logic, you really do, but it's like chasing a greased piglet through a hall of mirrors. Just when you think you're grasping his point, bam! He throws in an unrelated anecdote about a guy he met once at a golf course who totally agrees with him, and you're left wondering, wait, what were we talking about again? This constant shifting of topics creates a smokescreen of irrelevant information, effectively deflecting any real scrutiny. It's like a verbal shell game, and by the time you realize he's just been moving the same empty walnut shell around, you're too exhausted to even care anymore. Section 5. Student Loans, a non sequitur symphony. In this section, we explore Trump's curious habit of diverting conversations to unrelated topics, a tactic often referred to as a non sequitur. Specifically, we'll look at how he shifts from discussing abortion to student loans. Imagine a discussion focused on a woman's right to choose. Out of nowhere, Trump pivots to the issue of student debt, leaving everyone bewildered. This sudden shift is a classic example of distraction. By bringing up student loans, Trump diverts attention from the critical issue of abortion rights. He claims, "We're doing a lot for students," as if this has any relevance to the topic at hand. It's like trying to solve a math problem by reciting poetry. Interesting, but completely off topic. Picture a chef responding to a complaint about the soup by boasting about his pie-making skills. The comparison is absurd, yet it perfectly illustrates the distraction technique. Sure, the pie might be delicious, but it doesn't address the fact that the soup is the real issue. Similarly, student loans are important, but they don't solve the problem of abortion rights. This is the essence of the Trumpian non sequitur. It throws you off balance, distracts from the original issue, and leaves you wondering how the conversation veered off course. It's enough to make you want to scream, but then you remember he thrives on attention, even negative attention. So you just sigh and reach for another antacid, hoping that someday the conversation will return to logic and reason. Section 6. Drowning in a sea of words. Imagine watching a Trump interview and playing a drinking game where you take a sip every time he says great, amazing, or the best. Spoiler alert, you'd be drunk faster than a frat boy at a beer pong tournament. Trump's speeches are notorious for their excessive use of words. He talks like a broken fire hydrant, spewing out a torrent of adjectives, superlatives, and self-praise. But despite all these words, he rarely says anything meaningful. It's just noise, a flood of empty rhetoric meant to overwhelm your senses and shut down your critical thinking. It's like a flashbang grenade, blinding and deafening you, but ultimately there's no real substance behind it. Section 7. The Grift of Obfuscation. You might be wondering, is Trump's rambling and incoherence really that significant? Well, let me tell you, it's more than just a harmless quirk. Trump's obfuscation is a deliberate strategy, a grift of epic proportions. By dodging direct answers and filling the air with irrelevant tangents and lies, he creates a reality where truth is fluid, facts are subjective, and accountability is non-existent. In this manipulated world, he operates without consequences. He can enrich himself with taxpayer money, align with dictators, and undermine democracy, all while hiding behind his smokescreen. It's the ultimate con, and we, the American people, are the marks. Section 8. Beyond the smoke and mirrors. The good news is, we don't have to be deceived by his tactics. We can see through the smoke and mirrors and recognize his deceit for what it is. We have the power to demand clarity, accountability, and honesty from our elected officials. It's a challenging task. He's a skilled manipulator, a con artist of the highest order. But we can hold him accountable by educating ourselves and engaging in thoughtful dialogue. Supporting organizations that fight for truth and justice is crucial. We must be critical thinkers, questioning everything, demanding evidence, and rejecting empty rhetoric. By doing so, we can be the change we want to see in the world. Section 9. A legacy of confusion. Trump's time in office has left behind a legacy marked by chaos and division. He has eroded trust in our institutions and undermined our faith in democracy. This has resulted in a nation deeply divided and confused. However, we have the opportunity to learn from these mistakes. We can choose to build a future based on truth, justice, and a shared sense of purpose. By rejecting the politics of fear and division, we can embrace a vision of hope and unity. We can choose to be the light that shines through the darkness, the voice of reason in a world gone mad. We can choose to be better than this.